everyone, we're here today with Katie and Brie of Irsaneous Interiors, and we are talking fall tablescapes.
So this looks absolutely amazing, but I would never come up with this myself. So where do you guys even start with an idea like this?
Katie comes up with an idea and is like, hey Brie, start looking, and I will go to Pinterest and start putting in some different just words that I think go along with what we're thinking. And then if I don't find it on Pinterest, I'll go to Instagram, Google, and just start looking all over the place and start just screenshotting images. And then I bring them to Katie, and then we start kind of playing with it and coming up with our own version of what we do.
Back when I worked at Ralph Lauren, a lot of times that was the best education ever for sourcing ideas, because every idea comes from somewhere. Nothing is there's few ideas that are original thoughts. So we like to go and see what's out there and then take pieces that we love and just put them together, just like anything that you would do. Any project that's creative, you basically are taking ideas of things that you love and meshing them together. So that's kind of how we roll with it. So Brie actually found a really cool picture for our initial inspiration. We thought, what are we gonna do for this? How are we going to even go about creating a tablescape? So Brie found a cool picture from Instagram with mostly pumpkins. And
yeah, it was pretty much only pumpkins, and we loved the colors of the pumpkins and how they mixed the plain ones that aren't painted, but they added some really pretty different hues of painted ones. And so we made our own version. We went outside and spray painted some, and then we painted some, and yeah.
So we started with layering the base of the pumpkins on the table. We kind of played with it. At first we didn't buy enough pumpkins, so we had to go back and buy more. But so we laid out the base of the pumpkins, and then we kind of sat the floral arrangement in the middle, and we needed a liner for the bottom. So we kind of started layering things in and just playing with the composition. We wanted to figure out what the big things were first, because we usually start in our design process finding the bigger things and then working our way backwards to the layering pieces. And then we also just go out and go shopping and see what's out there.
Will you tell us more about the no-sew napkin? Because I thought that was such an easy, neat concept.
For sure. I mean, they were super fun to make, super easy. Anyone could do it. That's one of the reasons I kind of wanted to go that no-sew route, because not everyone has a sewing machine, not everyone knows how to sew. And napkins are the easiest things because it's a big square. So basically we kind of went off of how many table settings we had, and then I'm not a math person, but we kind of had to get some math involved to figure out how much yardage to purchase. And we just basically went off of a standard napkin that we had, and then we just accounted for the space around to have the seam, and gave it a little bit of clearance for that. And then they sell adhesive at Joann's, or I'm pretty sure you can probably find it at Hobby Lobby as well, but it's a press-on, and it's washable, or so it says. I haven't tested it, but it's a press-on adhesive, so you just iron it on, and you kind of let it sit, and voila. I mean, it was super easy to make. It just took a little bit of time, but it's cool. No one else is gonna have these napkins.
That's right.
And then how do you guys keep the flower arrangement alive? Is it something that someone would have to change out every once in a while, or
Well, here's the thing. I personally don't know that I could keep it alive that long. So, but we start with an oasis base, which is that moldable greenery that we put down in the base of it, and we kind of start just plugging away in there and then filling it with water. This arrangement probably is only going to last 2 days, because the base of it is not really sufficient for the size floral arrangement anyway. So I would say that might be a Google situation.
or maybe one of those you just
I can make it pretty, but I don't know how long it's gonna live. Right, full disclosure.
Then another question I had was glassware. Do you always go formal, or is there a way to incorporate some sort of more casual?
Well, this glassware actually, one of our team members, Hannah, her mom lent us this for this particular tablescape. It's a really beautiful Waterford crystal. And, but I thought, it would be fun to add something a little bit more polished, since we kind of went really informal on the place settings, just to kind of mix it up, because our style as a firm is very eclectic. So
we love
textures.
Tablescape. Yeah, we love having all different textures, and we think that always adds such a nice completed touch.
brunch.
Well, it looks gorgeous. So I think the next thing we want to do is have you guys show us how to do the napkins.
Let's do it. I take the fabric and I'll lay a napkin down that's roughly the size of the napkin that I'm trying to make. And I just take into account the seam on the outside. And then I cut the napkin out and then take the adhesive and line the side. Once the side is lined, I will start by pressing it with an iron. So I pressed on the adhesive. It's obviously two-sided, so I cut it to size. For the first step, you don't want to have any steam for this particular one, so I get it stuck to the fabric as tight as I can, and then before I come back to folding it over, I do the opposite side of the napkin, and I do the same exact thing while the other side is kind of cooling because you want it to allow it plenty of time to cool. So once that's done, then I'll go back to the original starter side, and then I fold in an allowance so that I have a nice clean seam. And then I remove the backing on the tape, and then this is where you want to apply the steam. This kind of gets a good seal to it. This particular tape requires a 15 to 20 second hold, so in as much steam as you can. So that's kind of the process for this, and they're pretty simple. The fact that you don't have to sew them, I think, is the beauty of it. I think with materials and the cost of just with the tape and the fabric, I want to say we spent roughly $40. So I think it's a pretty good deal overall, and you get something completely custom.
Okay, so you showed us how to make the napkins. What about the rest of the place setting? Where do I find some of this stuff?
Well, we are super budget friendly. So these plates are actually my everyday plates, and they're from IKEA. They still sell them, they're great, and they're very inexpensive. And the gray plates, the little salad plates, these are from H&M Home, and they were also very budget friendly. Not a lot of people think of H&M for home stuff, and I believe these were $3 a plate, so it was a steal. And of course we got our napkins from Joann's, and one place that we like to save when we're setting a place setting is to kind of mix the highs and the lows. So since we kind of went with inexpensive dinnerware, we mixed it with like the Waterford goblets and Pottery Barn silverware. So it's kind of like a nice mix, and I think it's something that people can apply to their own table settings and not feel like they have to spend a fortune. But we're also not opposed to mixing in china that you've inherited or those kinds of things. But for this particular tablescape, that's kind of the balance that we went with.
Katie, you just showed us your beautiful, wonderful fall tablescape. But one thing I noticed when I walked in, I'm sure Erica did too, was this beautiful wreath on the door.
Basically, I kind of am obsessed with these grapevine wreaths, and so we just went to purchase a wreath that was just solid grapevine, and kind of found the components at two different places. We got the wreath itself from Hobby Lobby,
Okay.
and the components for the floral arrangement, I want a yellow front door, so we kind of went with, well, I can't have a yellow front door right now, so we found some yellow floral that we would layer into it. The floral came from a mix of Hobby Lobby and Joann's.
Okay.
And so it's all faux floral, which is great because then it'll last through the season and hopefully next year too. And then picked up some floral wire to put in the wreath to make sure that everything stays down and doesn't fall out as doors open and close. So that's kind of where we started with that. A lot of people typically, when you buy a wreath from, say, Home Goods that's already pre-made, a lot of those wreaths are 20 to 24 inches, and they might be good on a standard size door, but if you have a custom door or if you have a double door, you might need to go a little bit larger in scale, and it's something to really take note of, and just to make sure that you're keeping that into consideration, the size of your front door and covering the majority of your door. That's one of the reasons we did a custom wreath for the size of door that I have. I think that it just makes more sense to add something that is going to take up the majority and also, you know, look nice, and it's custom, so
Yeah.
you get exactly what you want.
Well, that is super noteworthy to know the scale of your door and the wreath. Katie, I cannot thank you enough. I know from our team, Eric and I, for showing us this beautiful tablescape and showing us how to do these things that are super noteworthy that anyone can do to make their home look gorgeous for the holidays. And if people wanted to learn more, where could they go to know more about what you guys offer or what your services are?
Well, they can definitely check out our website, irsaneusinteriors.com. We actually have a great blog that we keep up to date, and that's where we add a lot of these things. We want to stay connected with the everyday girl that wants to come on and kind of update their home and on a budget, and kind of get that look that we go for, and kind of share some of our tips and tricks from day to day, from holiday, and we do everything from organizational tips, and we even touch on other things just like fashion and beauty. So, I mean, it's just something really fun that we can kind of implement in our everyday work, and it's fun for us and a great way for us to share what we're doing on a daily basis as well.
Great. Well, again, thank you. And for more tips and noteworthy ideas, please visit Katie's website, and we will see you for Christmas.
All right. Thank you.